Imam Hussain al-Askari alayhi salam. But none of them has been called the master of the Shaheeds, Sayyid al-Shuhada. It's only Imam Hussain. There is a sacred hadith or hadith Qudsi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he says, إِنَّهُ سَيِّدُ الشُّهَدَاء مِنَ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَالْآخِرِينَ. He is the master of all the shaheeds from the beginning to the end. Any shaheed. There is a saying for Imam Salih alayhi salam, he says, all the shaheeds, they wish to be with Imam Hussain alayhi salam in the heaven. All the shaheeds in the history of the humankind, they wish to be with Imam Hussain alayhi salam in the heaven. So this is the third. The fourth, the only Imam that has been remembered by all the prophets. All the prophets, they mentioned Imam Hussain alayhi salam, they knew about the story, most of them, they cried for Imam Hussain alayhi salam. We don't have such thing for other Imam. So this is a unique quality. The fifth, there is a hadith from Imam Salih alayhi salam. He says that all angels and all the prophets, whether they are on the skies or on earth, they continuously asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give them permission to visit the shrine of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So every time, this is the saying of Imam Salih, Imam Salih says, all the time a group are coming down and a group are going out. It means prophets and angels always in the queue to visit Imam Hussain, to visit the shrine of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. ليس ملك ولا نبي في السماوات ولا في الأرض إلا وهم يسألون الله عز وجل أن يأذن لهم في زيارة قبر الحسين عليه السلام. All the angels and prophets, they asking for permission to visit the shrine of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And then the Imam says, فَفَوْجٌ يَنزِلْ وَفَوْجٌ يَعْرُجُ. Group, they come down to visit, and another group, they go out continuously. Number 6. Always there are a great number of angels staying in the shrine of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. This number varies according to the narrations from Imams. Some say there are 4,000 angels always there in the shrine of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Some narration says 1,000, some narration says 70,000. So it is the shrine of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, it is the place of angels' movement. Always angels are there. So we don't have such narrations in regard to any other Imam. Additionally, just I go quickly to some other qualities of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, some individual unique qualities. The Prophet ﷺ says that all the eyes will cry on the judgment day except those eyes that cried for Imam Hussain alayhi salam in this world. It is a unique quality for Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Imam Hussain is the only Imam that Imam Zaman alayhi salam, he cries for him at least twice a day. The only Imam that Imam Zaman alayhi salam, this is in Ziyarat al-Nahiya, وَلَأَبْكِيَنَّ عَلَيْكَ صَبَاحًا وَمَسَاءً. I will cry for you in the morning and then evening. So this is the minimum. Every day, twice, minimum twice, Imam Zaman cries. All Imams became shaheed, but Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he is the only shaheed who became shaheed in the battlefield. All Imams, they have the 40th day of their martyrdom, but the only 40th day which is remembered and we have been encouraged to memorize it is the 40th day of martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, the Arba'in. The only Imam that has been buried without ghusl and kafan. The only imam that his head has been separated from his body. The only imam that his family has been taken as captive. The only imam that his father, his mother, and his 9 of his children are infallible. We don't have such imam. His parents, both parents are infallible, and 9 of his children and grandchildren are infallible, are imam. The only imam that on the day of his birth, his parents and his grandfather cried for him. So, and there are more qualities for Imam Hussain alayhi salam that made him a unique. And through this we can know Imam Hussain alayhi salam more, and we can understand the value of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his position. And this requires us to understand him more in order to strengthen our relationship with him and to be in touch with him on a regular basis for our material and spiritual needs, as we can reach our needs fastly and quicker. I think I have to stop here because I need to hear from you, and if there are any questions. But I can put one general question and we can discuss about this question. And I would like to hear your views. We knew Imam Hussain as being Imam, and the meaning of Imam, and as being Hussain, son of Ali. And what are the qualities that this individual person called Hussain, the son of Ali, has? And as a conclusion, the question arises here. With all these individual high qualities that Imam Hussain alayhi salam has, how can we bring Imam Hussain alayhi salam today in our life? How we can a true followers of such great Imam? I think it's good to discuss about this subject, and I would like to hear from you. And what should we do, and in which way, and the method that we can use to become as followers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, to be considered one of the followers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, or to be the real lovers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. We claim that we love Imam Hussain alayhi salam, but how could we be a real lover of Imam Hussain alayhi salam? وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد.
Les deux, ensemble. Donc, vous avez entendu la question qui a été posée dans la traduction que j'ai faite à la fin, pour ceux qui n'ont pas écouté. Donc, la question posée, c'est comment, au jour d'aujourd'hui, quelle méthode pouvons-nous... D'accord. Quelle méthode on peut utiliser aujourd'hui? Comment faire aujourd'hui pour être considérés comme des partisans véridiques de l'imam Hussain alayhi salam, et quels sont, nous, à notre niveau, comment aujourd'hui on peut faire pour être considérés comme ça? C'est la question que vous pose Sayed, en fait. Au vu des caractéristiques qui ont été décrites et des choses qui ont été évoquées. Donc il faudrait avoir vos points de vue qui soient personnels, généraux, théoriques, pratiques, etc. Donc, qui veut prendre la parole, qui veut se lancer.
En français?
Oui, en français, en anglais, comme vous voulez. Oui, bien sûr. C'est bien.
Salam alaikum.
Alaykoum salam.
Première chose que j'aimerais dire, je réponds en français.
Oui,
Une façon de se souvenir de Imam Hussain alayhi salam, ça passe par penser à Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, parce qu'il est celui qui le mangera lors de son retour, et c'est important de travailler sur notre relation avec Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, parce que à travers lui et en se souvenant de lui, c'est comme ça qu'on peut garder le message d'Imam Hussain en vie.
She's saying that one way for us to being real lovers and partisans of Imam Hussain alayhi salam is to build up our relation with Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, because he will be the one who will avenge Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and this is the way she wants to have this relation with Imam Hussain alayhi salam by the way of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam.
Do you want us to take other?
Yes.
Yes.
D'abord, la première manière d'être partisan véridique de l'Imam Hussain, c'est tout d'abord de le connaître, de l'étudier et de s'inspirer de sa vie, de son sacrifice, et ensuite de se ranger toujours du côté des opprimés et de lutter contre l'injustice et l'oppression. Et enfin de comprendre que quand il s'agit d'un enjeu fondamental qui est de préserver la sauvegarde de l'islam, il faut tout donner jusqu'à donner sa propre vie et sacrifier même sa propre vie.
The brother described 3 ways. First, to study Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Second, to fight injustice and to protect the one who were victim of injustice. And the third, not to hesitate to fight and to give sacrifice as much as possible, and it can go up to ourselves or our families.
I hope for myself, I think that we can try to live our life by being inspired by the life of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. I join my brother to say that for all the protector, as the Imam, as the protector of the oppressed people, as the people who have no one to help them, to guide them, to show them the right person in this world and in the hereafter. But also, I think that which is particularly inspiring in Imam Hussain is its universality. Because this Imam is not the only Imam of one particular community, it's the Imam of humanity for me. It's the Imam of all mankind, it's a guide for all mankind, it's the source of inspiration by his way of life. For anyone who believes in truthness, in justice, in human, and in love. So I think that it's interesting also to ponder the fact that why this particular Imam is so well known. Not only in one particular community, why he is known by intellectuals, philosophers, or political people in the modern world. And I think this is a way of interesting the life of Imam Hussain alayhi salam as a real proof of guidance and justice, and what is the real way of living in this world, so we can reach the maximum of benefits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Thank you.
Excusez-moi.
Oui, non, je voulais juste reprendre les propos de notre frère qui expliquait qu'effectivement, une des façons de vivre finalement l'amour de l'imam Hussain, c'est de vivre à travers des actions qui protègent les opprimés, les personnes qui sont seules, qui n'ont personne, et vers lesquelles l'imam Hussain tendait toujours la main. Et je veux soulever le point, en fait, que l'un des points qui était particulièrement inspirant chez l'imam Hussain, c'est son universalité sur le fait qu'il n'était pas l'imam, pour moi en tout cas, d'une seule communauté de personnes, mais vraiment de l'humanité entière, qu'importe la race, la religion ou n'importe quelle différenciation. Et c'est ce qui fait sa particularité, c'est qu'il est un message inspirant pour beaucoup de personnes dans le monde. Et aujourd'hui, la question aussi qui est intéressante de savoir, c'était comment se fait-il que cet imam en particulier est si connu au-delà des frontières du monde musulman, que ce soit chez des intellectuels ou des philosophes ou des hommes politiques qui s'inspirent de lui en tant qu'un modèle d'humanité, surtout de justice, de vérité, de lutte en fait contre l'oppression et la tyrannie. Et ça, je trouve que c'est quelque chose qui est très inspirant pour nous, qui nous pousse à étudier sa vie.
Assalamu alaikum. Alors, on a dit beaucoup de choses, mais je pense que d'un point de vue plus pratique dans les vies de tous les jours, un aspect d'Imam Hussain en particulier qu'on peut appliquer dans nos vies de tous les jours, c'est lorsque Yazid envoya son gouverneur de Médina pour qu'il prête allégeance, Imam Hussain répondit qu'un homme comme moi ne prêtera jamais allégeance à un homme comme Yazid. Donc de ça, on peut avoir une leçon qui pourrait être se dissocier des personnes qui sont, on va dire, douteuses, qui font des mauvaises actions de façon apparente. Donc on va dire, s'éloigner d'eux. Ça, c'est un cas, on va dire, pratique de la vie de tous les jours. On peut dire que je dois m'éloigner de cette personne parce que je sais qu'elle fait de mauvaises actions, pour pas que ces actions puissent m'influencer ou avoir un effet sur moi. Par exemple, c'est un aspect pratique de la vie.
The practical aspect and the example that the brother is quoting is referring to the refusal from Imam Hussain to take bay'ah from Yazid. When Imam said that a person like him couldn't take bay'ah from a person like Yazid. And from this, practically, he said that what we can do is to differentiate, take distance ourselves from people who act evil or of bad influence or having bad deeds, and just making this act is for us a way to show that we are followers of Imam Hussain.
Here again.
Je pense aussi qu'une des leçons de la vie de l'imam Hussain, en tout cas de l'histoire de Karbala, c'est aussi peut-être de nous remettre en question. Parce que finalement, dans l'événement de l'histoire de Karbala, les personnes donc, qui habitaient Koufa étaient les personnes qui avaient appelé l'imam à leur aide. C'était des personnes musulmanes, c'était des gens croyants, pratiquants, qui attendaient leur imam, tout comme nous, on attend notre imam Mahdi, pour être sauvés de la tyrannie. Et finalement, ils ont cédé aux pressions de corruption, de peur, de toutes les pressions que les tyrans ont pu mettre sur eux, et ils se sont finalement retournés contre l'imam Hussain. Donc la question, c'est de savoir, est-ce que nous, finalement, on ne va pas être amenés à être victimes de ces mêmes pressions? Est-ce que finalement, nous, demain, on ne sera pas ceux qui seront en face du côté du camp Yazid face à notre imam? importante pour nous poser est-ce que je suis du bon côté ou est-ce que finalement j'ai cédé un petit peu aux pressions de la médecine. I was just asking a point that maybe through the history of Karbala and the story of Imam Hussain and Islam, we can learn lessons from this episode, because the people of Kufa was the people who was calling their Imam for the guidance and for the help from the tyranny of the Bani Umayyah, and they were waiting for the Imam as we are waiting for our Imam. So the question is, are we going to be like the people of Kufa when our Imam will come, that we won't be able to fight against the pressures of this world? And like the people of Kufa, they were threatened and they were corrupted and they were they could be able to fight against this pressure. So the question is that through this story, we can learn how to constantly ask the question of ourselves, that who are we? Are we in the right path or are we in the other path?
En fait, moi je voulais juste rajouter, pour relier avec ce que sœur Nadia a dit et ce que frère Khojatv a dit, c'est que quand on étudie l'histoire en fait des trois grandes religions, et donc celle de l'islam notamment, on se rend compte à chaque fois que c'est toujours le même schéma, c'est toujours un peuple qui se dévie en fait des valeurs de l'islam. Et en fait, c'est ce que disait sœur Nadia, parce qu'en fait, le personnage d'Imam Hussain est présent dans l'histoire. Et par exemple, ce qui s'est passé avec le prophète Saleh est quelque chose que les musulmans, les chrétiens, les juifs n'ont pas forcément tendance à se rappeler. Mais quand par exemple le chameau a été tué, Imam Ali en parlant de cet épisode en Najul Balagha, il dit bien que le fait que le peuple, je pense que c'était le peuple de Thamoud, le fait qu'ils ne disent rien et qu'ils ne montrent pas leur désaccord avec le meurtre qui s'est passé du chameau, ça prouve bien qu'ils sont d'accord avec ce que, il me semble que son nom c'était Koudar, a fait. Et comme les grandes religions n'ont pas forcément l'habitude de parler des anciens prophètes qui sont venus avant Moïse, avant Jésus, et donc c'est pour ça que le personnage de Hussain, comme il est beaucoup plus récent, et comme Saïd a dit qu'il est mort dans un combat, donc c'est vrai que c'est pour ça que ça renforce l'universalité, comme disait Sœur Nadia, et l'importance d'être toujours du côté de la vérité et de combattre les oppresseurs. So I was just saying that just adding on what the sister has said and what the brother has said, that the personality of Hussain is very interesting for us because he is one of the most recent in history, because people tend to forget what had happened to previous prophets. So I was just quoting the example of Prophet Saleh and the fact that when the people, when Qudar murdered the camel, and Imam Ali said in Najul Balagha that the non-action of the people means that they are approving of what has been done. But the fact that we don't know enough about our prophets, and we don't tend to refer to them, whether Muslims or Christians or Jews. But the personality of Hussain is more interesting for us because he's more recent in history, and as Sayyid said, that he died in the battlefield, which makes him even more universal in his appeal.
Thank you very much for your comments. And just to conclude, I have put some points, and I think most of the points that I put you mentioned. So let's see what I've written about Imam Hussain today. Number one, we have to increase our knowledge about faith. Why? Because as one of the sisters said, that the people, they invited Imam Hussain alayhi salam, but they didn't have full information about the position of Imam and the rule of Imam. So this is why they gave up. They left him alone. They changed their mind because they didn't have that deep knowledge about faith and about religion. So in order not to fall in the same problem, the same mistake, we have to increase our knowledge about our faith. When we say faith, we mean the knowledge about our beliefs, the knowledge about our imams. We have to know them, and we have to know their rules. As I said in part 1, that the rule of Imam is higher, wider than what we used to think. So we have to increase our knowledge about faith. This is number one. Number two, the brother mentioned balancing between like and dislike. In another meaning, the sentence or the duty we have, which is called tawalli wa tabari. Unfortunately, we usually go towards one of these sides. Sometimes we go to the like more than dislike. We like everybody. We love everybody. We make relation with everybody, while it is not the right thing. Again, we shouldn't be enemy with everybody. Some people, they don't like anybody except their family, for example, or their close friends, and the enemy of everybody. Here we have to balance between the like and dislike, and we have to have them both. We will not be on the right path if we take only one side. This is naturally. If you believe in something, usually you are not attracted and you do not love any person who has the opposite belief in anything. In Islam as well, if you see in the ziyarats of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, always there is tawalli and tabarri, both. So if we want to be on the path of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, we have to like and love and have close relationship with the lovers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and the mu'mins, and we have to be away and to have distance with those who do not love Imam Hussain, with those who do not practice faith and practice Islam. It doesn't mean that we have to be enemy. Be careful. Yes, we have to respect everybody, but we shouldn't love. Loving is different than having just normal relation. Loving means you have close relation, you rely on them. So we have to consider those members of the society who are evils. We should be a bit away from them. Why? Because they will have negative influence of us. So they will influence on us, definitely, negatively. So we have to be very careful. We have to keep ourselves away from being influenced by the evils, and we have to strengthen our faith through strengthening the relation with the faithful people. So this is the balancing between the like and the dislike. In another meaning or another sentence, the tawalli and the tabarri. Number 3, we have to keep and strengthen the relation with the source of knowledge. I'm talking to myself as well. We are here away from the source of religious knowledge, which is the Hausa, which is the Maraja. So we have to keep ourselves updated with the religious informations, religious conclusions, religious views and theories today. So every era and every period of time, there are new discussions about Islam, there are new theories, new views. So we have to be updated, and we have to rely on the reliable sources of Islamic information. And the reliable sources only the Maraja. So this is very important. We shouldn't trust any person who just gives Islamic ideas without being sure that this person has of a credit and this person is able to issue view. He is well-studied person, well-knowledgeable person. It is not enough for the person to be knowledgeable if he speaks very well French language or English language or Urdu language, any language, he speaks very nicely and he attracts the youth. But we have to see whether the knowledge he is giving reliable or not. Sometimes we are influenced by the appearance of the speaker, and we do not consider the credit of the speaker. So one thing we have to bear in our mind, that we have to care about the credibility of the speakers before we listen to the speaker. So this is the three. Number 4, we have to change our worldview. What does it mean? It means that we have to give priority, and we have to prioritize our view towards the faith in all aspects of our life. What does it mean? It means that we have to give less priority to the worldly affair. When we behave with our family members, for example, when we behave with our spouse, husband or wife, when we behave with our children, when we behave with our parents, when we behave with the members of the society, the people in the work, in the university, neighbors, we have to consider the faith first before the individual and self-interest. This is very important. Unfortunately, sometimes we make decisions in favor of ourselves and our personal desires and interests, and we don't practice Islam. Just because of some personal benefits, personal interest, we don't practice the rules of the faith. So we have to change our view towards this world. That this world has a value, yes, but when it compared with the faith has the priority. This is why in one of the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ, he says that the mu'min doesn't become mu'min unless is loved for him more than himself. It means he should love me more than loving himself. This is the criteria for being mu'min. It means that you have to give the priority for the Prophet over yourself. So this is the word. Of course, there are some more discussion about this. There's no time, just I'm going through the points written. 7 points. The 5th, as the sister said regarding the oppression, first of all, we shouldn't oppress others. When we say oppressing, as I said, it's not limited to oppressing or oppression in the society by government or by rulers. I may oppress my family, I may oppress my children, I may oppress my friends, I may oppress my parents, I may oppress my neighbors. So we have to consider all these misbehaving, all these the evil behaviors with others or taking the rights of others, all these are oppressions. And Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he stood against all kinds of oppression, including the oppression from rulers, of course. But we have to practice this in our life, that we shouldn't oppress even the children, even our children. When we practice this, then we can stand against the oppression by others. So it is in two levels. First level, that we shouldn't oppress others in our life. The second, we should stand against any oppression, and we have to support the oppressed people for the sake of justice. This is number 5. Of course, number 6 is the same, it looks the same. Number 7, the sister mentioned that we have to introduce Imam Hussain alayhi salam's idea and views and messages. As it has been said, that messages of Imam Hussain alayhi salam is not limited to religious messages. It's human messages, messages for the humanity, and all the messages and all the sayings of Imam Hussain alayhi salam apply to the humankind as being a human. So people from different background of understanding, background of faith, they can get benefit from the personality of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So it is our duty to take this message to them and let them know the message of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, how this message can benefit everybody and benefit every human, not only the Muslims, not only the followers of Ahlul Bayt. I thank you all for your time, and it took long. Thank you for inviting me for this meeting again, and I hope, inshallah, you are safe and all of us are guided, inshallah. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to speed up the appearance of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, and I pray to Allah to count us among his followers, inshallah. صلى الله على محمد وعلى الطيبين الطاهرين.
Thank you deeply, Sayyid Maki, for coming here. I've been honored to welcome you, and for your time, the presentation you made very detailedly, very deeply, that allow us to give us a vision of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and going deeply in the position he has in the face of Islam. I thank you also, Sayyid Naqvi, for all the detailed presentation you worked on and allowed us to follow clearly this presentation. So thank you very much for the hard work. Thank you for your hard work, Brother Yasser, for the translation, the quality of the translation. I think it allowed us to also clearly follow the presentation. Thank you to Mahfid Zainab and all the staff of Mahfid Zainab that gave us this very delicious nasto food and welcome us here. So, and thank you to each one of you who came, gave your time. We hope you learned a lot of things from this presentation. Inshallah, we'll try to follow these sessions in other sessions through different scale, like things like a workshop, inshallah, in September or at the second part of 2018, inshallah. And thank you very much for your attention, and we hope, inshallah, that we will welcome you very quickly, very soon, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.